but it's definitely one of like the latest like times I recorded. But
That's usually my time schedule. Pretty late in the evening.
yeah, how you been though?
I've been good. I've been good. Uh,
What you been up to?
Man, what pretty much anybody else has been doing, sitting at home, kind of waiting, trying to work, trying to get money, but
Mm,
but entertaining myself really mostly. You know what I'm saying?
by what?
Different things. Shit. All types of Xbox. New
Mm,
new games dropping, so just got a
what do you play
PlayStation.
usually?
I Dude, I just hopped onto the Warzone fad. I'm not even gonna lie.
On what?
Onto the Warzone fad.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't really like Fortnite or any of that, but me and
no, I
John,
just
we've been on Fortnite. That it's going in, man.
what happened, John? I thought it was gonna show up.
He was gonna be with me, but he ended up dipping earlier in the day because
Mm,
I got real busy with the roof and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, that was wild. It was hectic. So
yeah, I bet.
partly, kind of also what I've been up to, learning about roofs,
Mm.
trying to get a job with my brother. Just boring stuff, man. Just regular everyday life stuff. But
Yeah, I know your brother does that. Is it like his company or is it his friends or what's that about?
he got pretty much recruited from one of his old general managers at a sales job that he had, and that manager, knew he was a strong seller and was like, "Hey, I'm
Mm,
trying to start my own roofing company.
yeah,
Come
that's
sell
dope.
for me." He was like within the first 20 of the company, so he's making good commissions, good
Mm,
deals on everything. Um, I got a opening there, but I don't I don't like roofs, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
how come?
Just the height, and not even the height really. I don't mind going high up. I like going high up to places and stuff like that,
Yeah, I do like going
getting
high.
high. Yeah, I like getting high. You know that. But dude, that the ladders, getting on and off those ladders, that's a no go for me. It's just I don't know if you be up and off of
I mean,
roofs
for
like.
Christmas, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a once a year type of guy. I'm not gonna do it for my job. I'm not trying to be up on roofs every day.
Then there's those people that get on the scaffolds and they go up
Dude,
the high rises. Those
dude,
window washers.
it's amazing. It's
How
wild,
the
honestly.
fuck?
Dude, there's some of the wildest jobs out there.
Yeah,
It's,
definitely.
dude, like the people who climb those like big like satellite towers, pretty much. Like change out
Yeah.
light bulbs and shit like that.
Yeah, you've seen those videos, right? Whenever they wear the GoPro and they go all the way up, like,
Yeah,
fuck that.
yeah. They like don't look down and shit. Ah man. What about you though? What you been up to?
Shit. Basically just work and then I have other stuff on the way, but I can't talk about it on the podcast yet. And then, well, I'm trying to be better about the podcast. So I'm trying to drop like a bunch of episodes, like just grind them out.
Yeah, I feel that. I was gonna ask you taking the podcast any particular direction, or are you just trying to go with the flow?
I mean, just going with the flow because there isn't much direction because it's all free.
Yeah,
And then you just start making it. And
I,
then,
that's what I like about the podcast.
yeah.
I like all types of everybody's podcast is different, so everybody can have
Yeah,
one.
like every episode. Like, have you heard some, or like, you've probably seen some of the people. Like, I've had some of your
Oh,
homeboys on it.
yeah. You said you had Alex on here, right?
Yeah, Alex, Richard,
Richard.
Niall.
Nice, nice. When did you have When did you have those guys on here?
They were earlier.
Earlier.
I don't even remember, but they're earlier episodes.
But
Like people just hit me up like, "Hey, I want to talk on it." I'm like, "Fuck it, get on here.
get
Like,
on here.
you got shit to say, go for it. Everyone has shit to say." And that's really what it's about. That's what I love about it. You just sit down, you talk shit for a few hours, and you're on your way.
Yeah, in and out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Man, I like the podcast just 'cause it's like an independent radio,
yeah,
and like
yeah, definitely.
it's what the radio isn't anymore.
Mm.
'Cause
Yeah,
right,
good. It's all like all sorts of shit. like, no offense to the people that like are on it or that have shows on it, 'cause that's dope. But like,
For sure.
it's too much. I don't like the whole contracts. Like, yeah, you have to talk about this, and then you can't say certain words. Like, you're like, I don't give a fuck.
Can't talk about certain subjects. Like, you're just being monitored and monetized, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's kind of like television today.
Mm.
It's all controlled by, a few people.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, say whatever you want to say. Like, really, I'm just trying to get different perspectives, 'cause that's really what it's about. And I wanna get people like once I really start growing, I want them to like connect themselves with someone. Like, hey, look at this person. He's an artist, but he also did this thing. I can talk to them, or I can connect with them, or I saw this guy, he has his own construction company. I want to talk to him.
I feel that. Get a bunch of different
Yeah,
viewpoints of
just like,
people.
plus I love learning. Like, there's so much out there.
There's a lot, yeah.
There's I want to get like important people on here, as in like professors,
Dude.
or like I had Rainey on here once. I already hit him up. I told him because September, or like 1 month, it's gonna be 1 year since I started the podcast.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. I'm like,
That's
yo,
badass.
you're the shortest episode, right? I gotta get you on here.
He was the
Cause
shortest episode?
he was a pilot episode,
Oh, I
and then so I was
gotcha.
like just trying to see how everything worked out. So he was the shortest one. Like, I gotta get here. I gotta get you for at least 3 hours. Like, I want to see how much I can get out of him. Cause we could have definitely gone on for like way longer.
Yeah. Rainy man, what has he been up to? He's still what are the teachers doing right now? That's what I'm wondering, man. They
Well, he said he's doing a bunch of BS training,
That's what's
and
up.
he's not a fan of it. But he's into the Highland games. I don't know if you ever heard of those.
I'm pretty sure I
You
know what those are,
probably.
but go ahead and run me up on this.
So it's basically like, they're not ancient, but it's like one of the oldest sports. They were made big in like Scotland, Ireland, like Scots
Mhm.
Irish people.
Yeah.
So like whenever you go out and compete, you have to wear the kilt and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just giant men and women throwing heavy shit. Like,
Dude.
there's this one, the hammer throw. That's like the big one, and then it's like a 50-pound hammer. You just have to chunk it as far as you can. I'm like, shit, I can barely pick it up. And they're like throwing it. And there's this other one, like weight over bar. It's like a 40-pound little barbell. It's like smaller than the laptop. It's like about the size of a football, a little bit smaller, but
Yeah.
it weighs like 50 pounds. And
That's
you have to
wild.
like chunk it over your head and like see how high up it can go. It's crazy. Like,
Dude.
you see like the Olympics, like the powerlifters, like that's something.
Yeah.
But like the Highland Games, that's another level.
It's like those games are those aren't even anything you can particularly train for unless you're just doing that. Like you
Mhm.
just grow up doing that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and then powerlifting you just do specific lifts. Anybody can get into training
Oh yeah,
on that.
definitely.
But the Highlander games, I've seen people like those are the ones where they're like throwing big like tree like basically like
Yeah. There's that one as well.
basically
The tree
trees
trunk.
like yeah big
Yeah,
old tree trunk. It's amazing how big those
and
guys are.
they wear the kilts.
Yep, you gotta wear the kilt the whole
That
time. What's that one where you like I think you like there's like a small little river, like a little channel of water right in between like a gap of grass basically, and then you stand a pole up and I think you gotta climb to the top and be able to like pretty much fall over to the other side.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it
Dude, we
right
need to
now.
get a name and we need to get a name and we need to get a little clip up on
If
there.
you made it this far, please comment somewhere of what the name of that is.
Someone find out. We need to, what's his name? Jamie from Joe Rogan?
Yo, Jamie, pull that up.
Pull that up.
It's like, oh yeah, it's this game called so and so. It's like,
Yeah, dude.
I need to hire a Jamie. That's what I need to do.
Straight up. That would be awesome. That'd be hilarious, dude.
See, 'cause that way, like, if I already get big enough, because that way like I can actually have cameras. Because I had cameras set up for the first few episodes, but it's really really difficult. Not only the editing, it'll take a lot longer, but
You gotta line up audio and stuff like that.
yeah, like you have to line up audio, like make sure it goes with the lips, but also there were because they're not professional cameras, they can only record up to 26 minutes at a time. So I had to like try to time the conversation so
Yeah.
it'll like have that flow.
Yeah, you need some kind of cameraman or something.
Yeah, definitely. Just like have them reset or do something. Or
Something.
I could try to stream it. I could look into that, but the
Yeah.
camera would still die because my episodes are over 2 hours long.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Hmm.
I need to ask Joe
I guess
Rogan how he does it.
I was gonna say, I guess I never really thought too hard into filming a podcast. I know how hard it is to try and take that like two
Mhm.
different angles, line
Yeah.
them up, and then if you want to edit those, and you've always got to get that audio perfect
Because
too.
even then, just the conversation part of it's already like, well, for me, because I'm like an introvert, so it already takes a lot of energy for me to talk to someone, and especially for period like for a certain amount of time, so like over 2 hours.
Yeah,
Because like if I zone out just a tiny bit, like you'll start having like those little like the awkward pauses,
you get
and
those
I've
gaps.
definitely had those before. They're like, fuck, where do I follow up with this? So like,
I get you. I get
I don't
you.
know. It's definitely a grind though. Like people like, yeah, I say like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like you get to talk shit, but like, cause I'm hosting it, I need to make sure like the conversation's going, and I just have. There's times where I'm gonna be honest, I won't even listen. I'm like, all right, how do I follow this up? They're talking about doctors, like this certain medicine, like what? I just had to think of a question, like follow
Yeah,
up with them.
it's basically like basic conversation with
Yeah, it's
everyday
like,
people. Sometimes you're
yeah,
like, all right, I
basically,
don't
you're
know what
like,
the hell I'm gonna talk
all
about.
right, I'm a get going, but like I can't do that out here. So it's
Nah,
like, fuck, what do I? And there's those where I just had to like completely change the subject. Sometimes it works. Sometimes like, I didn't want to go this way, but it already got there. But
I feel you there.
it's
I feel you there.
definitely, yeah, like it's definitely a grind. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, the whole social media like
Mm.
aspect of everything like now is a grind. Like YouTubers when bro posting a video every week when YouTubers say that they're gonna post a video every week, I don't think people
That's some
understand
hard
how
work.
hard
Yeah.
that is. Like that is super hard. Cause it's not even in the video content. You can
Mm.
come up with that video content, film it within a day, but you've got days of editing, freaking lining up the audio, making sure it looks like you want, or retaking what you messed up. Like it's just a bunch, and then rendering. I remember rendering videos could take like 24
Oh
hours
yeah,
depending
weren't
on
you a
how
name
big they
at?
are. Yeah.
You were a name at.
Oh
What?
yeah. Yeah, dude. I remember.
I forgot about that.
I can't tell you how many projects I turned in late just because I was already running late on them, and then they'd be like, "Oh, it's gonna take 8 hours to render this video," and Miss Lavatal would be on my ass. So I'm like, "Yeah, it'll be done in 8 hours, Miss. I
You're
promise."
like, nah.
I'll be back. I'm gonna be back in fifth period. I'll see if it's done yet.
How long were you in AMAT
I
for?
was in AMAT all 4 years, and then I had a schedule switch up senior year
Mm.
because of whenever like you complete football. They took me out of the athletics period because they don't like to just give you a free period apparently
Mm.
for some reason. So they tried to put me in bookwork PE or some bullshit.
Mm.
I never went to that one. So they would have been better off just leaving me in athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how that ended. But anyway, it was fun. I enjoy that. Enjoy audio visual.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, like, I remember they would take us places. Like, there was this one year we went to some, like, graphic design place. Or, like, the inflatables. I don't
Mhm.
remember if you went to that.
I don't think I did. That was
That was my sophomore year, I think. Yeah, it was my sophomore
was
year.
that for graphic
No, it
design
was for
or
AMAT in
for
general.
AMA in general?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that one, to be honest. I don't know if I actually went.
Mm,
I know we did go to a few cool places with them at, and
yeah.
then there
We
was.
had that our main event at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, that was always. That was like every year. That
Yeah.
was look forward to that one. Getting out of school.
I would always destroy everyone at bowling,
Oh yeah.
except I still remember my high score. It was a 135, and Mr. Johnson beat me in the last frame by like 2 pins.
Mr. Johnson,
Mr.
the what was it?
He was
Chemist
no,
was
he was graphic design.
graphic design.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
that one.
All right. Oh, I did not like Mr.
Eh,
Johnson. I remember who you're talking about.
yeah, he was.
He
I don't
was
want to get into it like on here, but he was something.
he was interesting. He was an interesting guy.
Yeah,
He
he was.
ah man, Mr. Johnson. He was an alright teacher. He knew what he was talking about, but it was definitely his hobby. I don't think that
Mm.
was his main, not his main, not his main passion for sure. It was more of a hobby thing for him, but he would be weirdly good at bowling. That'd be funny, just
Mm.
to have him bust out on you and bowl. But bowling is fun.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is not something we do a lot anymore. People used to go bowl all the time back in like the
And roller
70s and
skating.
80s.
I'm happy skating's getting popular again.
Yeah, like
Roll.
rollerblading, roller skating, all that's super fun.
I'm into ice skating.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
ice skating is also good for your balance. I did
And
that whenever I was a little fat ass kid running around just to help my balance.
mhm.
I was
Yeah,
roller skating.
it's really good for you. Like it
It's
helps you
fun.
balance out,
Oh yeah.
and like it does.
Well, I know you're into hockey too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
I wanted to play, but I don't know how like the whole COVID thing's working out. But I was like really training. Like I have all the equipment and stuff. I just go outside and like start shooting, like do drills and stuff.
Oh yeah,
And like
dude.
COVID happened, I'm like, I wonder how that's gonna work out.
Dude, it is. That is a hard sport.
Mm-hmm.
It is a hard sport. Takes like balance, hand-eye coordination, strength,
Cause even
stamina.
skating on its own's already like its own sport,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
then like like learning how to use the puck and dribble the puck, like sticking the puck and shooting. Like you have to learn both of those separately, and it's like a whole different like techniques, all that sort of stuff, and
yeah,
then you put them together on the ice.
yeah. And you've already got to be strong enough to kind of be
Oh
able
hell
to
yeah,
defend yourself against
hell
those
yeah!
guys.
They're
It's a,
like,
it's a whole lot. It's a
mm.
lot.
And then like they'll start fighting you, like what bitch?
Yeah,
Let's
for
go.
real. You
Drop
throw
the
yeah,
gloves. Let's
drop the
go.
gloves, man. Drop the
See, the
gloves.
thing I like about that though is that it in a way, and it's the reason why they continue it. It's that it teaches you a lesson. Because whenever you have like a really dirty hit on a player, like his teammates gonna back him up. Like, hey, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
So it like teaches them a lesson. Like they can't get away with that. And
yeah,
like the refs will usually like let it be. Like once they see like they already like they're squaring up, they drop the gloves, so it's like make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And like basically whenever one of them hits the ice, like that's whenever they break it off.
yeah.
They go into the penalty box.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say it's never really like been clear to me if that was like just an unspoken rule or if it's like
Yeah, in a way it is. 'Cause there's nothing in the rule book. Because they still get like the penalty
yeah,
whenever they both fight.
yeah,
But it's kind of like an underwritten rule. Like if they both drop the gloves, like you just kind of get out of the way and let them do their thing.
dude. If only they did that in football, that would be
That'd be
awesome.
it's definitely be different.
That'd be awesome. I just don't know. I guess they just wouldn't allow a bunch of high school and college and
It'd
like
be
NFL.
it'd be very different.
It would be wild, especially if they tried to only allow it in Major League, like
No,
because
especially like 'cause like the players are all sorts of sizes.
oh yeah, dude. Oh dude, that would be That would be insane.
Like, can you imagine like a wide receiver like started having beef with one of the
Dude,
linebackers,
like a little Cole Beasley versus like a big ass like
like
fucking
Von Miller?
yeah, someone like Khalil Mack, someone just come
Mm.
in just that'd be
Yeah,
wild.
like
That'd be wild.
yeah. No, it'd definitely be different, cause and then I think in the NHL they tried to ban it at some point, but like everyone was against it. The players, the coaches, the
The
fans.
fans, dude, the
Yeah,
fans is
that's
right
that's
there. The
like, yo,
fans
like
have all the
shit. If
money.
you're
The
gonna
fans make the decisions. Like,
like if your team's gonna lose, but your player won the fight, it was a good game.
yeah,
Like
and it
no,
boosts that morale.
like no, there was
You,
a few fights. We won all of them. We
mm,
we may have lost the game, but we won the fights.
exactly. And that's still something to walk away feeling good about.
We're like, nah, I won, bitch.
I kicked that guy's ass. I don't care if I lost. I definitely, there's definitely a lot of football games I'd feel a lot better about if I could say that. If I could be like, yeah, well, I don't care if we lost. I kicked that guy's ass.
Mm.
There's some football games I like to say that about.
Yeah, 'cause that's kind of like their thing. Like, if you're gonna have a dirt, like, if you're gonna hit someone dirty, like, you're not gonna get away with it 'cause the teammate's gonna back them up.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of that in
And
my.
like, of course, it makes the game more peaceful in a way, just 'cause like they're settling out their own disputes.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely, dude. Dude, my team would have been settling a lot of disputes. We had a lot
Hmm.
of dudes who like to
Yeah.
talk.
Plus, whenever you're going one on one with someone, like that's when you're releasing everything out. So like, after the fight, like, what are the outcome? Is like, hey, I did my part. Now it's like, all right, let's keep playing.
Yeah,
As in, like, if they're breaking you up or like if they're intervening, you're still gonna have that beef with that person. You're still gonna like try to
exactly.
have problems with them. So like, you're still gonna like on the way to the bench, you're still gonna like hit them or like shove them, do something,
And yeah, I've seen that happen a
and
lot
then
in
it
all
really,
sports, in
yeah,
pretty much any sport that doesn't allow
yeah,
fighting.
and then
I've
it's a
seen
huge
that.
distraction as well.
Yeah,
Cause like now you're focusing on the other player instead of on the game.
can't play angry.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
got yeah, can't
and
play
like in
angry.
hockey, they let us like you beat the shit out of the guy, and then like, all right, good, got that out of the way. I'm gonna keep playing. And
Yeah,
it's so intense. Like the game,
dude.
it's
Game, dude. Hockey games are fast. They're like, dude, they're insane.
the
I've only been to one
mm,
professional hockey game, and then like seen just happened to stumble upon like two amateur games for some
mm,
reason, and like that, I thought that was dope. After I saw it in real life, I went home and like downloaded NHL because I was like, dude, I
yeah,
gotta play this. Like it looks fun as hell.
yeah, cause that's the one thing. Like whenever I started watching hockey, that's why I kind of like got away from the NFL, from like football.
Mhm.
Cause I was never a fan of like you have like that 3 seconds of action, 3 to 5 seconds, and then you stop for 40. You think you come up with a plan, and then you come back out, and it's like another 5 seconds, and it's like someone calls a timeout, so that's like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's like another 10 seconds.
Yeah. I get that.
So that's kind of like what I never watched, and that's in hockey. It's like it's nonstop for 60 minutes.
Yeah, especially like for football on TV, if you're
Hmm.
watching like professional football on TV or if you're watching professional football even there, you're like so many interruptions, so many
Yeah, and then you get
things
like the
coming in between.
commercial breaks and.
Timeouts,
Mm.
injuries, all types of water breaks, everything. Um I can watch, a college game. College game's a lot easier to sit there and watch. A good high school game is always fun to watch because it's a lot more
Mm.
high pace, like fast pace. But hockey game,
The
no matter
NHL,
what,
yeah.
is constant, constant, constant.
Mm.
And some people say that watching like stuff like soccer is boring, but they
It's
do have, yeah,
continuous.
it's continuous. It's like that's like one of the longest games you can sit there and invest your time
Mm.
into as a soccer game. Football games are so fast. They're like kind of one and done. They can be over and done with
Mm.
like super quick, especially if you're already at like a 21 skunk or something.
Mm.
It's wild.
No, baseball. I'd say that one's way longer.
Baseball, a baseball game compared to a soccer game, I don't know. We gotta look that up, cause
No, baseball games go on for a few hours.
yeah, Yeah.
Like those tennis matches also, they can go on forever.
Tennis matches, dude.
Mm.
That is true. Honestly, I didn't even think about that. What about a golf match, golf game?
Mm.
I bet you that could last
That's
a
kind of like
while.
half a day, but it's that was a different one.
That's a different one.
Yeah, 'cause like
That's
you get on your
totally.
like you get on like your caddy and then go like the next hole and then
I
I
don't
don't
know. I
know.
think they
And
walk.
there's
I think they walk in professional golf.
it depends on the course also.
I don't know why, but yeah.
It depends on the course, 'cause then you have like those like 500-yard courses,
Yeah, dude.
and then you have to travel to like the next hole, and that's I don't know.
The world of professional sports is a weird thing.
What got you into sports?
Um,
Here, I'm gonna turn on that real quick, but you can talk.
I really don't even know, honestly. I guess I was kind of not, I wouldn't say like put into sports, but I was asked, I guess, if I wanted to play sports when I was like 4. And I pretty much just wanted to do whatever my brother was doing at that time, so I said yeah. Because my brother was a football player, so I just started playing football at 4 years old because my
Hmm.
brother was doing it, and then I ended up liking that a lot more than I intended to.
Hmm.
Then I started loving football, and then I just kind of just turned out that I liked all types of sports.
Yeah.
I just like I just like athletics. I like to be doing
Yeah,
something,
definitely.
moving.
And it's also good for you because it teaches you competition, winning and losing.
Oh, dude, that just teaches you life. Teaches you how to
Yeah,
deal
it
with
does.
life.
Like dealing with people you don't like, but you still have to work with, and then like the competition, and just like all sorts of stuff.
Just how to lose.
Yeah, definitely how to
How to
lose.
lose.
That's a huge
That's a
one.
big part of life is
That's a huge
losing.
one. Yeah. And
There's
especially nowadays, you have like those participation medals. I
that's
don't
such
understand
bullshit.
that. Yeah.
Such bullshit.
If anything, that's motivation. Like whenever
I
you lose, you get pissed off. You go home and then you're like, all right, what did I do wrong? You like
you,
try to break down the game, whatever happened.
yeah, you're supposed to see the kids
Yeah,
with the big shiny trophy, and then you want
you're
to
like,
work your ass off
fuck, I
for
want
that
that.
thing. Exactly. You're not supposed to get one just slightly smaller.
Mhm.
Fuck no.
I never kept my like. If I didn't win, I just threw them out. Like,
Anything that
nah, I
said
didn't.
participation, yeah,
Nah.
I threw it away.
Like,
If it wasn't a actual place or anything like that I felt proud of,
like
I threw it
nah.
away
Yeah, exactly.
for sure.
But I want to talk about this. We're talking about like I know we mentioned it before, but kind of like your transition or like your transformation. 'Cause I remember you back in like middle school, like the first few years of high school. Like you were a really big kid.
I was, yeah. I think really start my. I actually just saw something the other day. Um, because a thought popped into my head.
Try to speak up just a touch.
Alrighty. Um, a thought popped into my head the other day about when was the last time I was under 200 pounds, because I just happened to be, I just like got back down under 200 pounds
Dope.
pretty recently, yeah.
What are you
But
standing at right now, if you don't mind me asking?
right now I'm at like 191,
Mm.
190,
Mm.
just kind of bounces around. But so about 190. I saw a paper from the doctor's office when I was 11 years old. I was, that was like the first time I hit 200 pounds, was at 11 years old. I was 200 pounds at 11 years old. And I was always taller than everybody, but
Mm.
still at the time for 200 pounds, I was short. So I
Mm.
was like a little round ball at 11. And then in between 11 to 14, so basically it was a pretty much 6th grade to ninth grade, I think.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
within 6th grade and ninth grade, I gained 105 pounds
So what did
basically.
you top out as?
I topped out at 305.
Wow.
So I went from, going into middle school at like 200 pounds, and I was coming out of 8th grade at like 300 pounds. And I'm pretty sure 8th grade, summer of 8th grade, I was at like 305. That was like the biggest I was at. Um, and then just like started doing. I mean, I was already playing football, but when
Mm.
you're like middle school, football is not serious. So
Mm.
as soon as I hit freshman year, it was just football every day, and then puberty too.
Mm.
So just sitting there working out, eating a freaking bunch of food, which apparently somehow works as long as you do it correctly.
How?
Um, you know,
Explain that.
so I'm trying to remember the exact dieting routine it is, but basically, kind of like it's a diet for cutting weight. If you eat a lot of smaller meals, then it'll like kickstart your metabolism basically
Mm.
anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
as opposed to eating 3 meals like the regular person, you're supposed to eat maybe like 8 snacks throughout the whole day. So
Mm.
you start first thing in the morning, obviously, with like could be a small protein shake, could be a protein bar, could be a little snack, and then after that, like in the middle of the day, you're eating like pretty healthy stuff, so like almonds, cashews, some kind of like nuts or something like that, and then
Mm.
fruits and vegetables for lunch, like stuff like that. So it was a lot of little eating, because we did football from 5 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, so
Mm.
you're sitting there, gotta have a snack constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so basically,
And
uh,
how long ago was this when you started out?
um, so from 11 to 14 years old, I hit 200 pounds at 11 years old, gained 105 pounds within 3 years. So I was 305 by 14. Um, Started football every day, and then from 14 years old, I started just dropping weight out of
Mm.
nowhere, and I couldn't even keep up with it. I couldn't tell. Honestly, I couldn't notice.
Really?
I didn't even notice at all. Honestly, I thought I was still fat as fuck, and I had a lot of people just start telling me like, "Hey, like, did you lose weight? Like, holy crap, you
Mm.
lost like a bunch of weight." Like, and like I honestly did not notice. Like, I had like people were basically like having to point it out to me, and then I kind of asked my mom one day. I was like, "Yo, what's up? Like, am I losing that much weight?" And she's like, "Yeah, you look tiny." And I was just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" So, pretty
Hmm.
much by like junior year, I was down to like 220.
Really?
Yeah, and then I think senior year is when I stayed at like a solid like 215, 210.
Mm.
Then for some reason after graduation, I've dropped back down to like 190. So,
Mm.
9 years. It's taken me 9 years to get back under 200 pounds.
Well, shit. Better late than never.
Yep, it's amazing. It's wild. So,
So you
yeah.
exercised and then you dieted, of course.
Exercise, diet, I believe a lot. And like I have a high belief in diet and what you put in your
Oh
body.
yeah, no shit. Yeah.
As far
That's all it
as
is.
greens, I enjoy my my fruits, my vegetables, my herbs, all my greens,
So
like
whenever you
everything.
started that, whenever you were in ninth grade and you started like having like the little snacks throughout the day, um, were you still eating like a lot of the same things, or that is where did you change it up? As in
Dude,
like
that
I'm
yeah.
gonna stop cutting or I'm gonna stop eating this.
Yeah, that changed a lot too. So I basically dropped it like not everything, but sodas was the big thing. Sodas
Mm-hmm.
super bad,
Is
and
that the first thing you dropped?
yeah, that was the first thing I dropped because that was probably my biggest problem was drinking all the sodas. So I was just started drinking just a bunch of water, and it was like constant. I was carrying around like gallon of water, drink that constantly, and like I mean we kind of were getting like in trouble for a while from our coaches if you didn't have a gallon of water anyway.
Mm.
So that was the only thing I wanted to drink. If you're drinking so much water, you don't like you're literally not thirsty for anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I mean, yeah, that was just diet and exercise and um,
So did
new
anyone
hobbies
make
too.
you do what?
That's the new hobbies too.
Hmm.
As far as like skating, is when I really started skating.
Skating's dope.
Yeah.
So whenever you did that, like, did anyone tell you, or was there like a moment that kind of like flipped your switch? Like, all right, I need to stop living the way I am.
It was really, it was, I mean, it was kind of in my head that I knew, like, cause when you go from 200 pounds to 305, like
In like three
you don't,
years.
yeah, you don't just not notice that, you know,
Mm.
like it definitely, like, that's why sometimes I, like, it, it's not that I have sympathy for people who are obese, you know,
Mm.
now currently, but I also know, like, it is a little bit like it's in your brain too, you
Yeah,
know,
it's all in your head.
it's on you too, so like it's hard for sure. It's like one of the hardest things to do, but it is also like, you know, it's not just happening without you knowing, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like that's the only reason why I am a little hard on like some of my friends who are overweight still,
Mm.
because I'm like, yo, it's not like you don't notice, like, you know, like
Oh,
I know
definitely.
how that shit feels. Your fucking body hurts. Like, you know, like my knees were hurting at 13. Like, from what? I haven't done
From
shit. Like, I
walking.
haven't fucking done shit with my life. I'm 13 and my knees hurt. Like, so like, you know, like that. You notice that shit. So like, I definitely knew something had to change. I was like, yeah, this shit is not good. Something's gotta change. But, um, really, it was like I wanted to change for football as much as I wanted to change for myself.
Mm.
I wanted to change for myself, but I really just wanted to just get better at football,
Mm.
and I couldn't move for shit. I could barely even get off the ground. You know,
Mm.
what good are you if you're on the if you're stuck on the ground? So there was just a lot at play. Obviously, fucking females too, you know,
Mm.
teenage years, you getting
Oh
into those
yeah,
teenage
definitely.
years, hormones and shit like that, you get pretty motivated by the females around you, and then just everything.
So,
I didn't feel healthy, I didn't feel good.
so just like a subconscious thing, like I need to stop this. I need to
it
change.
was it was a lot of things.
It just added up in a way.
Yeah, it was a lot of things, and then also it also kind of, it was like a lot of things that just happened, uh to line up perfectly. As
Mm.
far as like, I started skating, um, I started like finding, I had reasons to go out, places to go. Like, you know, my friends wanted to go places,
Mm.
so we just would end up skating places while I was already doing football and shit
Yeah.
like that. So it was just a lot of little like, we literally would skate constantly every day just to go anywhere, because, you know, we didn't have cars back then. We're little teenagers, so we want to go
Mm.
swim, we want to go here, we want to go to our friend's house. Like, let's take our boards, fuck
Yeah,
it.
you
Like,
skate there.
so like I contribute a lot of what happened to football and skateboarding, and like
Mm.
super glad I found that, because not only was that my means of transportation for the longest, but I think it was a big part of
Yeah.
what helped.
It's a great hobby to have.
It's a
And then it's one of those where like it's just everyone does it. Or like you don't have to be a certain person to be a skateboarder.
To me, oh yeah, definitely not. And there's people with like all types of styles. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's just a skateboarder. You know, some people are doing it for completely different reasons
Mm.
or completely different styles. But for me, it's hard to go anywhere without a board. Like, as far as
Mm.
vacation spots, big spots, like if I'm going out of town on a trip, I'm taking my board with me.
Mm.
I have to, 'cause there's so much stuff to skate. It's wild.
True. Yeah, yeah. And then the scooters are also dope. Like those new scooters you see around the city. Those are fun. But it sucks you have to pay for them.
Those,
But I
yeah.
mean, they gotta make money, so.
Straight up. Someone, they gotta pay the people that pick them up. Pay the
Yeah.
people that charge them.
Yeah, those are dope though. And then that's why, that's one of the reasons I love like going to Europe. Because that culture is a lot more accepted. Because obviously they're a lot more older cities. So they're not designed for cars. Like their cities designed to walk. So you walk around all day, like people bike a lot more. Like over there, like I love biking, but like here, I can't go many places with my bike. First of all, it's hot as fuck.
Dude, yeah.
So I'm like, no, I got a nice ass truck. It's got AC. Like I'm not gonna bike.
I mean, to me, I feel like like I don't know. I feel like biking in different regions of the world is a lot
Mm.
different. Different
Oh yeah.
countries is a lot different than biking here in America. Cause there's very few places that I'd feel
Mm-hmm.
like, first of all, right climate. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I want it to feel
Yeah,
good.
I'm like,
I
nah,
want
I
it to feel
gotta.
good. Um, I I mean, there's definitely states like we have beautiful states here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously in America that I would like to bike across. Um, but some places like I feel like it's just like you live that bike lifestyle in Europe and like you can kind of like
Yeah, definitely.
not leave your bike anywhere, but be a lot less worried about putting it up somewhere. Like
Yeah,
I
cause
don't.
everyone. Yeah, cause everyone has their bike.
Yeah, everybody's got their bike. Dude, your bike gets stolen so fast here.
For real.
In Dallas, man,
And it's
especially
crazy because you don't
anywhere
see
really.
people riding bikes much yet. You leave it out and it's gone. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing with that bike?
Who took it? You know what
And
I'm
then
saying?
over there, everyone has their bike.
Dude, um, I really want to go like bike around places like Amsterdam or like,
Amsterdam's I haven't been there, but I know people there. Like, and I met a lot of people that have been there. Like, you gotta go to Amsterdam, dude. You're missing out.
places like some like I want to like bike around like big old hills like in the countryside
France.
of like France and like Ireland, dude. Like my brother and my mom have been to the Isle, man, and they've been to
Mm.
Ireland, which is like two separate places. Like Isle of Man's not really a place that a lot of people know about, but it's pretty much right by Ireland. So,
Yeah.
but out there, you're in those grass, like those big old hills, like you're in the
Mm.
grasslands, and super windy, chilly, but like you got these big windy roads that you can like
Mm.
ride down and ride up. Like they look awesome. And like you said, like the countryside of France, like that shit
Mm.
looks dope.
Oh yeah, definitely done that. I've done the countryside of Germany.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
badass.
'cause I had a friend that lived on the countryside, and then it's tough 'cause over there, like, you could be out at 3 a.m. You can be perfectly fine. Like, you ride around like at 3 a.m. with your friends, and then you'll
That's
see like the hungover group of teenagers,
hell
like
yeah.
heading back home. Like, oh shit, been there,
Hell yeah.
been
That's
there,
what's
done
up.
that.
That's what's up.
I remember I definitely had an experience like that. We're heading home one day. It was in that little country town over in Germany. Like we're heading back from a party. It was like 4 a.m. It was like a little group of us. And then we see like this one lady on the other side of the street, like walking her dog casually. And like, what the fuck?
Dude, that's yeah, see different other
We have to
countries
get back to, yeah.
other countries, man. They're wild like that, honestly. Like they some places are super safe. Like they just like they could do anything at any
Hmm.
time that they want.
See, that's the one weird thing about Germany, 'cause they literally had to restart their country, 'cause they got destroyed during the Second World War.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Japan. That's why like they're like if you see like countries with their biggest economies, like Japan, Germany are in the top five, and they're like these tiny, tiny little countries.
Yeah. And
Well, like tiny as in like comparing to like the U.S. for example, or
yeah.
something like that. But they're up there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, I feel like they've had like just I don't know. I feel like that was what they were focused on. You know,
Hmm.
basically when they were restarting,
Yeah,
they were
'cause
like,
I
all right,
mean, you literally have nothing left. Like everything. I remember my brother told me that he went to Germany once, cause he was in other European countries prior to that, but he wanted to go to Germany. And then he said he was really shocked when he got there and everything was new. Like there was a bunch of new buildings. Like he didn't see much of the history, and but it's like yeah, 'cause it was all destroyed.
yeah, yeah, and that's what people don't. Dude, people don't understand that they look like straight up modern as hell. They look like they're living in the
It's
future.
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I love it.
It's awesome. I've definitely seen some awesome pictures. I got some friends up in Germany. Um,
Yeah, your
we had some.
brother.
Yeah,
You told me about him.
got some brothers, friends, and then I remember, um, oh man, I'm an asshole because I can't remember her name, but I remember the one German foreign exchange student that was at Turner. I I got her on Snapchat because we helped it like um they needed help. The German foreign exchange students were making a sign for the football players. I think it was for the homecoming
Mm-hmm.
game, and then and they came into our English class asking for help, asking our coach because
Uh-huh.
they needed the names of the football players,
Yeah.
so they were gonna ask a coach, and my coach just looks over at me and was like, Colton, how about you go over there and help him? And I was like, what the fuck, like like you coach, like it was like one of the laziest coaches. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a totally different topic, but just one of my coaches that I could not stand at the time. And I was like, all right, they clearly asked you, but I'll help them. But within that small time, that was like the one time I sat there and talked to all the German kids
Mm-hmm.
that were foreign exchange students there at the time, and then they were all super chill,
Yeah, they're all chill as fuck.
and they were all there like they were super excited for the football game,
Mm-hmm.
super excited for the homecoming, like because they had never seen that, and it was awesome, honestly.
Cause they have the NFL over there somewhat.
Dude,
It's like it's starting out in Germany.
that's awesome. And it's weird too to think like you don't realize you live in this little bubble when you live in your own country. You don't
When you live in the
realize like
U.S. especially.
yeah, and even your own state too. You even
Mm-hmm.
state to state is so much different in the U.S. But
Mm-hmm.
especially whole nother
Mm-hmm.
continent and country. You totally like things are so different. They
Yeah.
don't know what the hell your little traditions are.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the hell are these weird things y'all are doing? But I think that's awesome. I want to travel. Like that's my main reason for wanting to
Definitely.
travel was because like I want to go
Oh
see
yeah,
other
we went.
people's.
I just remember we were at that Oktoberfest that one year here in
Yeah.
Addison.
Yes,
Shout
dude.
out to that. That was fun.
Hell yeah! Shout out to that. We've been to Oktoberfest here in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Now we gotta make it to Oktoberfest up in Germany.
Bayern
Hell
or
yeah.
Munich.
Dude, I'm down,
I was actually gonna go this year.
bro.
Yeah, it was a plan, and then like I was happy I didn't buy the tickets. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a few more weeks, cause I usually, cause whenever I travel, if it's in the summer, I'll buy my tickets around March.
Mhm.
So like, what is that? Like 4 or 5 months in advance, and then
Yeah.
Oktoberfest like late September. So I would probably bought them around like May,
Yeah.
but then everything happened. So I'm like, all right, good. I didn't buy them.
Yeah, you got lucky on that one. You lucked
Yeah.
out on that one. I was buying a ticket. I had actually already. I still have this ticket actually. Ticket to California. Um, to go see some family out there. I didn't even know I had family out there. But my my uncle lives out there with my aunt, and he's just inviting us because it was like the invite was like around like December, like maybe November or something, and it was a very random invite. But I was like, dude, fuck it, I don't have anything better to do. I'm going to California. It was gonna be my first time.
Hmm.
Bought the ticket 2 months in advance. Supposed to fly out like sometime in like probably actually 3 months in advance because I think we were flying out in March, and then sure enough canceled.
I went to Vegas in March. That's when it all started.
Yeah, March is when it all started.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't even know. It was honestly like it got canceled like the week it really started popping off.
Yeah, I was actually at the airport when the president announced that he was closing down the borders. I was at
That's
the airport
wild.
going to Vegas, and then I was with my two friends that were from Germany, because they were doing like a tour of the U.S. at the
That's
time, and then they stopped by my house, so like I was showing them around and stuff.
that's
And
badass.
I was like, where y'all going after Dallas? They're like, oh, we're probably gonna hit up Vegas or LA. It's like, just let me know wherever y'all go, 'cause I'm down. And
That's
then like,
cool
yeah,
as
and like next
hell.
thing like, hey, so we're going to Vegas. Here's a plane we bought. So I'm like, that's a bet. I'm gonna go with y'all. And that was in like January. I bought tickets to go to Vegas.
That's awesome, dude.
And then next thing you know, like March happens. Like, you know what? I already have the tickets. If something happens, then it happens. It was meant to be. I'm gonna go. Had a good time.
Oh, excuse me. That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
badass, honestly. Yeah, I'd like to get a call and just be like, yo, we're going to Vegas. I'm like, bet.
Yeah.
I'm tagging along. I'm
Like
out there.
shit. I'm
Uh,
going with you.
I'm in. I was in Vegas, actually. I was out in Vegas in January, right before all this hit.
Mm.
So, pretty wild to see that, like, how many people, not only just how many people, but, like, like, where all you've been, and then it just shut
Mm-hmm.
down, just stopped immediately. I don't know. This whole
Yeah, like while I was there, it was slowly starting to shut down. So like the first day on the trip, it wasn't crazy busy, but it was like it was different because that's what my friend said. I was like, yeah, it usually isn't this quiet. And like by the last day, which was it was on a Tuesday. It was the day they were gonna shut down, or it was the morning before they were gonna shut down the entire strip, or the day before, excuse me. Like there was a handful of people outside,
Gotcha.
as
That's
in like
wild.
groups of three. There's
Dude,
like a couple over here. There's like a group of three or four, like a few blocks down. But that was about it. It was.
that's what people really don't understand too, is like, it's, if you are out at those places, or if you haven't, like, not everybody's been, but if you've been or seen it, you know what it looks like
Mm,
normally. And like, to have that shut down, the Vegas Strip, that thing has only
that
been
was yeah.
that thing's only been shut down like a few number of times in history,
Mm,
and it was wild.
yeah, cause like my friend that was hosting us, he works at the Venetian. He does events and all of that. And you said that like that weekend, like he was gonna host this really really big event, and even the president was supposed to show up,
Wow,
but like he said that he canceled it,
dude.
and then like he was basically out of a job. Like they just made him work go in like once or twice a week.
That's it's hard to wrap your mind around. Like, literally everything was like normal one day. Like,
Yeah, especially there because their entire economy is based off of tourism and
literally,
people
yeah.
going in and throwing money away.
Pretty, pretty
That's what
much,
they live
honestly.
off of.
They really do, because there's like, as soon as you get into Nevada, like as soon as I got into Nevada, I was already at like, as soon as I went in Nevada, saw the Hoover Dam, and and right there at the Hoover Dam is Hoover Dam Lodge and Casino, like whatever. Like, literally, like as soon as you getting in, like,
Hmm
first thing you see is casino.
I mean, it's the same thing here in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
cross
As
the Red
soon as you get
River,
there,
it's like
boom.
Windstar. It's those. And then it's weird because in Oklahoma, technically they're illegal. But the reason they stand is because they're on Native American land.
That is,
And they can do whatever the fuck they want.
yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
always interesting to me, and cool too.
Hmm
Is that kind of a little bit gray area, the Native American land, and how they have their own reservation
Yeah.
police too and stuff like that.
I remember I was talking to Rainey the other day, and he was saying that the reason that marijuana's on the ballot, it's because I'm obviously paraphrasing here, but because Native Americans, they basically run Oklahoma
Mm-hmm.
and like a few other states. And then they would, like, the percentage of their profits, they would donate it to like the education system or like something like that. But
Gotcha.
obviously, because of COVID happened, no one's going to the casinos, so they didn't have enough money to like give out. So the governor started having beef with them, and next thing you know, they just cut cut the budgets completely. So
Hmm.
like the government's literally out of money, and they're looking for. And he was saying that that's kind of like similar what happened to Vegas, cause like even then like all of those casinos are all Native American casinos.
See, that's the one thing that probably saved Nevada.
Yeah,
The one thing that probably saved
and they had to
Nevada is
legalize.
that Nevada is, yeah, recreational.
Mm,
So they probably, yeah, that's their one thing, is they're like, all right, at least we've got recreational marijuana,
And like the prostitution's a lot. Like, I'm not sure it's legal 100%. I have to read about
It's
it.
like they have like high-end escorts almost
Mm-hmm.
that are. It's a weird. Like again, I think that's one of those gray areas
Mm-hmm.
too. But that's something I'd have to check upon. But
But it's decriminalized.
yeah, and I think they got they got pretty lucky having recreational marijuana because Oklahoma they've only got medical as far like
Yeah,
thus
but
far.
I think it's gonna be on this ballot.
Gotcha. But yeah, and I know Oklahoma too. I'm sure
Mm.
Oklahoma's hurting off of their casinos being shut
Oh
down.
yeah, they're yeah, and then like he said, the governor was having beef with the Native Americans, like the tribes,
There's
and
been
they just said like fuck you, we're cutting you off,
the
cause they don't, cause like they're basically their own nation. It's like a nation within a nation.
pretty much they've got their. I mean, they've got their own their whole own like like their own little
Mm.
society. It's
Yeah,
weird.
that's
It's
why.
like
Yeah, it's a nation.
it's a protected like straight up nation inside of our nation,
Yeah, and
and
then
it's interesting to even have that and
mm,
like be like
yeah, and then like they each have like their own government, like their own hierarchy and all of that.
yeah.
It's interesting.
It's awesome, honestly. It's
Mm-hmm.
super fascinating. Like really awesome,
It's badass. They do whatever the fuck they want. That's why you can also smoke there,
dude. Yeah,
cause they don't give a fuck.
it's
And it's one of those things like whenever you're in their territory, like the U.S. Constitution doesn't apply. So like if you run into some crazy tribe that says murder is totally legal and you decide to shoot someone there, like the Constitution doesn't apply, so they can't. Like you're off. You're a free man.
that that is one of the things that I've kind of always wondered about, as far as them having their own police and
Mhm.
them having their own laws and
Yeah.
stuff, is how far they could, like, what all they can get
Mm.
away with.
Yeah, and it's kind of like in the casinos, cause they're. I think it's illegal. Like the federal government sees it illegal, but of course they give it. It's kind of like with the marijuana, cause marijuana is illegal, like in the
Federally,
federal courts,
yeah,
but they let the states interpret it the way they want, and
yeah.
that's kind of like with the Native Americans, like, cause they. No, not even that. They just ignore the Constitution. Like it's their own laws, basically. It's interesting.
I mean, why the fuck would they listen to our Constitution?
Yeah, like fuck you.
Straight up, like it's not even it. It like clearly there's a reason. Like I don't know. It's just it's funny to see like we've given them their own space
Hmm.
clearly for a reason. Like we know we fucked up. Like yeah, like there's obviously something wrong and weird about just having that there as it is. So why the fuck would they care to listen
Yeah.
to our Constitution? There's no reason to.
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't listen to someone who came in and was like, "Yo,
Yeah, we're kicking you out of your
this is the
house.
rules." Like, not even kicked out. It's really just like move over here. You get the
Hmm.
shitty room. I'm coming in taking the master bedroom. You get the backyard. it,
That's basically
it
what happened though.
yeah, I mean, it really was fucked up and super fucked up to know that like not even just one side, like it wasn't just my European
Like
Christopher
nah, it
Columbus
was.
side. It was also my Spaniard side coming in and doing that too. Like so many like it was amazing how many races just came in and were just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna take this spot. Like this is my
Hmm.
spot. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing. Before America was even America, people were still fighting over it, still trying to take this, still like taking this whole spot.
I think that one crazy story is whenever Christopher Columbus like showed up in one of those islands and he knew that there was gonna be an eclipse, and then he was telling him like, if you don't give me food, if you don't give me gold, like my god's a lot more powerful than you are, and I can make the moon bleed or something like that. And then, because he knew all along that eclipse was coming, and then like they're like, "Nah, you're fucking with us." Next thing you know, like 3 days later, the moon starts to turn to like that blood red,
Dude,
and then they're like,
that's where the original like hoaxsters and like original tricksters came from, which is like super not even naive, just like just back then before people knew anything. I mean, yeah, obviously it's naive, but like that's amazing to have like been alive back then
cause he
in
was a
that early of
navigator,
a
so
time.
yeah, he had to know obviously about astronomy, cause that's how they navigated.
Yeah.
And then he obviously knew the calendars, like he was well read about all of that, and then he knew that eclipse was coming up, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna get what I want.
Fucking swindled a whole
Yeah,
tribe out of gold
just
and
cause he knew there's an
food.
eclipse coming. That's crazy. It's very fucked.
There's some very, very fucked stories from history.
Mm.
But honestly, I think that's kind of what makes history so
It's
fascinating.
interesting, yeah.
Makes it very fascinating, interesting.
What do you think about aliens?
They're definitely real. I don't know, man. It's hard to say that they're real, but it's just as hard to say that they're not real. You know?
What do you mean by that?
Because obviously, I've never been abducted by aliens that I know of, at least. You know, not that I remember, not that I can recall, and like I'm not out here being like, oh, here's concrete evidence that there's aliens, but I'm big, like, I don't know, I really like, I fuck with science, fuck with astronomy, and kind of also, but like also in
I know you're big into chemistry and that.
yeah,
I
big
didn't
into
even know.
chemistry. So like I'm kind of like I don't know how to put it. I guess like kind of in the age of damn, I can't even remember it. I can't even think of the words right now. But basically, um, I'm a man of science to where I kind of want some facts and I want some like evidence. I want like shit like that. But then again, I haven't had any hard evidence
Mm.
or like real facts. Like, nothing happened to me, nothing like that that really proves aliens are real to me. There's a big part of me that's like, but who the hell is to say that they aren't real?
Yeah.
Because how the hell, like, there's no way that we're the only planet that got lucky enough. Like, see,
Mm.
like, that's the other thing is me being a big man of science. I also think, well, there's like fucking millions of stars, millions and trillions of
Trillions.
planets, like trillions of planets and trillions of stars, and you tell me we're the only one that got stuck in a habitable
Yeah.
zone. Like, it's obviously a super hard percentage, and like it's a crazy, crazy like fate that you end up in a habitable
Mm.
zone and also have like water and shit like that. But when you look at those kind of numbers too, the percentage grows a little bit. So like, I don't know. Also, one of my favorite quotes is like, we're either alone, completely alone out here, or we're not. But, both thoughts are
Yeah, both
equally
are scary.
scary.
Yeah.
So, like, that's, like, definitely always resonated with me. It's, like, true as hell. Because it's either, like, we're either floating through in a dark abyss of trillions and trillions of stars and planets with nobody else to help us.
Mm.
Like, we're the only ones to guide ourselves and the only ones to try and, like, I don't even know what the fuck we're doing. Like, like, who knows what the fuck our purpose is at this point, what we're
Mm.
trying to go after. But it's either that or we've got to face whoever else is out there.
I'm 98% sure they're real. The 2% is just because I haven't seen them, kind of like you
Exactly,
said.
exactly. Like, I'm
But
kind of,
they have to be. They're already here.
like 75% to 85% positive that they're real.
No,
Just,
I'm at a solid 98.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like some days I'm like higher than others. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause it definitely, like, dude, I feel like there's been even though I say I haven't had any concrete evidence, there's definitely been shit that's happened. There's
Mm-hmm.
been evidence. There's been weird stuff. Really, the biggest thing is, I know the government's been releasing like weird documents and like classified shit that.
Yeah, the Pentagon released videos last month, literally about flying objects that are not made from here.
Yeah,
They even said that they were not made on this planet.
yeah, and that was kind of like I've always like kind of thought that there's aliens,
Yeah.
but that kind of really right there kind of put it in my head like, all right, they're using other stuff as a distraction.
But
They,
it's like one of those things like why would you release that?
I don't know. To me, it's either like people were kind of like on their ass about all this COVID and everything that's
Mm-hmm.
happening right now. That like they were like, all right, we need to get them like we need to give them something to get them off. Like give
Yeah.
them something to like they're bitching a lot. Let's give the public something to get them off our backs for a little bit, and be like, what else? What do we have in the closet? Well, they've been asking for aliens for years. Let's just throw that one out there. Like fuck it. It's either that, or or they're using what all is happening, all of these current events, as a distraction, just to kind of slip the aliens, and they're just like whatever. Like people are too focused on Corona
What do you
and
mean slip the aliens in?
like 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 if they didn't want it to be as public, if they weren't trying to really come out and tell everybody like yes, there's aliens, ask us about them. Like while people are focused on these racial tensions and rioting
Mm-hmm.
and coronavirus, then they can just kind of like release the documents and be like, like aliens are real, by the way. Just so that y'all
And
know.
just an F,
But
just an
like people are
FYI.
like so yeah, like FYI, like aliens are real. But I feel like people are so wrapped up in everything, like obviously the world events that are happening to us
Mm-hmm.
personally, not necessarily like I was gonna say like real world stuff, but like obviously if aliens are real, then that shit's real.
That's
But
definitely
the
something.
shit that's personally affecting us is kind of like clouding and like
The aliens.
yeah, clouding the aliens, which obviously like we have some bigger issues at hand, but aliens are real.
Just keep that in mind that they're
Just keep that
real
in mind. Aliens are real.
and they're gonna attack. No.
I don't know, man. We don't know. Every now and then you need to think.
See, people are always afraid of that, but if they were to attack us, either they would have already done it, or like we wouldn't even feel it just because if they're able to make it to Earth, they somehow have the technology to travel across the galaxy or across like hundreds of thousands of millions of light years. So we're not gonna do shit to them. It's like in the movies whenever they see like the giant spacecraft like coming and then they try to pull out their guns. Like,
Yeah, and then
I don't think those bullets are gonna do shit to like something that's millions of years in
it,
the future.
yeah, to me it's like it's weird to think like you point a gun at me. We're any of us we're terrified because that little
Like they
piece
literally,
that little piece of lead could do so much damage to us. But then like when you look at something like that, like
it's like something that traveled like millions of light years to get here, and like you
yeah,
try
and
to
then you point a little piece of metal at it, it's just
like
like, all right,
no
like
no no
what the
no.
fuck is that? I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about aliens though. It's a toss up. It's a two big toss ups. It's either they want to distract us and keep us off their tails about other stuff, so they're
Mm,
trying to just be
the
like here.
pedophiles.
Yeah, pretty much trying to keep us off of the bigger agenda, trying to keep us away from what's really going
That's
on.
crazy one.
That's the crazy one. Pizzagate, that's the wild one.
Ah.
That one. He's like, oh, he said it. Nah, that is the wild one. Straight up, they're trying to. That's the other thing. See, that was deep into my other conspiracy. I wasn't gonna
Mm.
break it out, but yeah,
Nah,
like,
go for it. It's a podcast.
dude, that's one of the biggest things we got going on right now is all the pedophiles in our country.
That's
All the pedophiles running our country.
Really
Cause
running everything. It's all the
yeah, running
Hollywood.
everything,
It's all the fucking Hollywood people.
everything, dude. Hollywood, fucking, politics. Like politics runs. Like the government's involved in Hollywood, and so on and so forth. And then whoever runs our government's involved with the other world governments, and
Mm.
it's amazing.
It's I don't know. It's one of those things I can't even put into words yet. First of all, I'm not that well read, so I definitely not gonna do justice by talking about it, because I don't want to misinform people.
I feel
But
that.
just like
That I mean, that
it needs
one's
to
a
be
hard.
said one way.
That one's a hard one too, though, because you can be as. I mean, you could read up on it as much as you want. There's still so many people who are either in disbelief or. Sorry.
Damn, we're getting a call.
Yeah. Uh, like yeah, there's so many people who are either in disbelief or I don't know. There's a lot. You know what I'm saying? There's people who know nothing about it, and then when you try and tell them, they're like, "That sounds crazy."
Mm.
But then there's also people that if you kind of talk to them about it, then they go off on some tangents, and then you're like, "All right, holy shit, you sound crazy." Like,
Mm.
like it's weird to just kind of I don't know. You know, like I don't feel like
Also a
anything.
weird one.
I don't feel like there's anything that we really know about that's 100% concrete,
Mm.
except for the fact that like there's definitely
That
some.
it's going on.
There's some weird shit going on, but
I like that
obviously we're just
whole.
not powerful enough to be able
Mm.
to find out. It's hard.
Really, yeah. I like that whole Jeffrey Epstein thing about the island, and then that he allegedly shot himself or something, whatever it was.
Oh, he allegedly hung himself
Yeah, yeah, he hung himself.
in his cell. That one was wild.
That's
That yeah, you know, there no, you don't just fucking you can't. Are you telling me first of all that he wasn't on suicide watch? 'Cause like clearly he had.
yeah, 'cause they would get him on way before.
Yeah, like he
'Cause they
had.
don't just wake up and like I'm gonna hang myself.
Yeah, like they should have already had him on suicide watch. But also not only that, you tell me the two cameras in there weren't working. Like I don't know how much you've seen into it or not, but they said that both the cameras
Yeah.
facing his like cell or whatever like stopped working conveniently. And then
Who's calling you at 11?
it's John. He wants to play Warzone.
Nah. Like, nah, I'm busy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You basically just got on the
I was just
phone for
texting.
people are listening.
I know. Getting on the phone on the podcast.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, dude, it's the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is wild. And really what's wild is to think about who's covering it up and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
You just got on the call
Yeah.
again,
I
so
met Jordan
I had to
real quick
distract
doing
you.
the podcast. I said I met Jordan real quick
He's-
doing the podcast.
Bro, it's like 11 in the
I'll be back
afternoon,
soon.
man. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk right now. That's definitely a crazy one, because
Alrighty.
hang on, he's back. It's
Sorry
definitely
about that one.
nah, but definitely they had to shut him up.
Dude, yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's amazing to think of which one done it, who done it, you know, the who done
Mhm.
it, because there's
Mhm.
so many powerful people he was with in connection.
Yeah. In a way, that's kind of how he. Is there any reason, like, is there any story, like, how that all started, or why?
As far as him, or
Just in general.
well, I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, it would kind of. I guess you gotta get a little more specific.
Yeah.
You gotta get a little more specific when it comes to
Mhm.
that question. Um,
As in, like, the island.
the island that so it came out as like kind of first it came out as like Epstein was this big like pedophile basically running
Mhm.
like a pedophile ring, and then you kind of think like how the fuck are you like how are you obviously, you know, like whether you're into pedophilia or not, that like that's not the question, but like how do you turn your pedophilia addiction into this large of an operation, and why was the question. And it turned like now I've seen reports and stories saying that like it he was basically running the island. He was getting paid by uh, people to basically invite wealthy, powerful people to his island so that he could purposefully like blackmail them and get videos and pictures and then send them to I think he was working for a specific government, and I think this specific government was paying him like, you know, all the millions of dollars that he had. I think they were the one paying him the money so that he could like, you know, invite all these, you know, invite, you know, the fucking Prince Harrys, invite the princes of, you know, Saudi Arabia, and invite fucking Bill Clinton, like to like, you know, like they're basically paying him to invite those people to his island
That.
so that he could then blackmail them, is what I heard
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
some of
definitely.
these accounts. The that one doesn't seem that far fetched when you think
Yeah, it
about it.
really isn't. Fuck.
Um, yeah, I mean, governments, dude, governments of all countries have done way more. Not necessarily way more, but they've done, you know, some fucked up stuff. So
Hmm.
why would that be, you know, far fetched? Why
And
would
there's
that?
like that whole thing with like like the actual like the pizza place or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, kind of in that with the code wording, and then what they say too. Some of their emails have been like they're like not crypted, but you know, like taken and then decrypted because you see them talking about like pizza and stuff like that.
Mm.
It's a whole bunch of weird stuff. If you don't know anything about it, it definitely sounds like a whole bunch of crazy
It
mumbo jumbo.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely going on. That's
I
fucked
don't
up part.
what I don't get though is like you can't tell me it's 100% fake
Hmm.
because we know about like, you know what I'm saying, like there's plenty over Jeffrey Epstein right now, you know, so like there's clearly something going on. But what,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like, you know, like there's a whole Netflix series over it and everything. So I'm not 100%. That also kind of makes me think, though, obviously there's other people in play with it because they kind of want to paint it all off as Jeffrey Epstein's the bad apple. You know, like he's the one who's doing all of this when really he was their little like he was.
He was a bait.
Yeah, he was the bait. He was the little mail carrier almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's small fry. He's not the
Hmm.
one actually calling the shots or running the show. Like, but that's what I
But he
feel like
kind of it was as well.
well, that's what they wanted him
Hmm.
to be. They wanted him to think he was, and they wanted everybody else to think he was as well. Because think about it, if he ever gets caught, he's the fall guy. You know,
Hmm.
so now we've got fucking Netflix series and TV shows and hour-long docu-series about how Jeffrey Epstein was the ringleader of this big pedophile thing. Who, like, how, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who, I feel like he definitely was having help. You know, there's other people involved, and I feel like that's what they're trying to cover up
Hmm.
with those little series and shit,
Hmm.
is stuff like that.
But definitely, like if you're trying to blackmail someone, there's definitely other ways to do it.
Oh, for sure. That was
That's kind of like
definitely
my
one of the most diabolical, fucked up ways to blackmail someone. What I don't
yeah.
get is how do you get that many people who how does that work on that many people? You know,
Yeah, especially high like high level like people that run the world.
how do you approach somebody about
How?
something like that?
Yeah.
How do you just bring that up in normal conversation?
Yeah, like, hey, I have this island full of kids. You should come. Like,
Yeah, for real, just like
how the
you like
fuck?
you trying to come like yeah, you trying to come to my island like
See, it's
obviously.
different because if you're like Howard Hughes, like, I got a mansion, I got a bunch of chicks, that's different.
It
It's
I
still
mean
fucked up, but it's different.
it's like not only that it's just like if they're I don't know like if there's a mansion, if there's an island known for like partying and like like oh like they go do drugs on that island whenever they go party there, and like you're a high ranking celebrity or some shit or like a president or some shit, and you go there and you come back, people are gonna be on your ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, oh, you were clearly there doing drugs.
Mm.
But like now people are like acting like, oh, some of these people just like happened to go to that island but like didn't know what was going on at that island, or like they were just invited out there for a dinner so they just went out there. Like, oh, bullshit. Like when you're going like like you're guilty by association pretty much. You're getting
Mm.
wrapped into it. Like, if I'm getting accused of doing drugs because I went to somewhere that's known for doing stuff like that, you're not gonna get accused for
But
fucking.
like even then, say you didn't know about it, but like once you started seeing what's going on, that's when you're supposed to speak up.
Exactly. Either
Like,
speak. Yeah.
yo, I got invited to this dinner at a mansion, but it turns out he has this stuff going on or
Yeah.
whatever.
Come
But
on. Yeah.
no
Something.
one really came out.
Yeah, and that's what amazes me how it went like he went by for years just doing
Hmm.
that shit. Just years.
Like no one talked about it.
Years. It's insane.
And like not only that, because there was always like hashtag and stuff going on, but they got shut down right away as conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Especially in
fucking
2016, like,
guidelines. Some of the guidelines. Instagram guidelines saying that like, oh, you can't, not like, basically like kind of fabricating stories about
oh
people,
yeah,
but it's real shit. Like,
it's fucked up because it's going on Twitter right now. Because there's been like people that talk about COVID, and that it's not really the way. It's not what people really think it is, and they
yeah,
get shut down for it. Like Twitter literally has guidelines. Like it's misinformation. Like, what do you mean it's misinformation?
it like I get like honestly like I mean I do get why they have guidelines like that because you've
Mm-hmm.
got people like Donald Trump on Twitter, you know. But yeah, for the people who are just on there, like everyday people, I feel like we should have the freedom to kind of be able to
Mm-hmm.
post whatever the fuck we want. It's the internet. But then again, like you can't have politicians and people we're supposed to be able to rely on and listen to just allowed to say whatever out
Yeah.
there, because that's clearly running into a problem with that
Mm.
one. What's called
What's up?
does your little sticker down here on your computers that says Seguin, right?
Hold up.
The green one.
Oh yeah. Say again.
Uh, all right. I was wondering where you got that from.
It was some guy I met at a. It was a playoff, a Stars playoff event.
It's
Yeah, I
cause
don't remember.
cause I got family out in a little town in Texas.
Seguin, Texas. I've
Yep,
heard of it.
Seguin, Texas.
I've heard of it.
It's out by San Marcos in New Braunfels.
Hmm.
Shit's lit.
No, I've never been.
I like it out there.
I've driven by for sure, but I haven't.
It's calm. It's chill.
Yeah, I definitely love like the country life. Definitely has a lot.
For sure. So you play guitar?
Ah, I tried to, but it's not patient.
I feel that, honestly.
That's one problem I have.
I feel that. I don't know if it's patience as much as it is
I just have
attention. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it's patience as it is
I just have
as
a
much
lot
as
of cool
attention.
shit going on in my head that I want to do, but my fingers can't keep up. So I'm like, ah.
I feel like
Not sure.
I'm the exact same way. Or I just have a lot of shit in my head in general. Like I'm so jumbled up like in my brain that I just like I'm like, all right, I want to do this and this and this
Mhm.
but I can't even focus on one thing. Like I'm trying to focus on this one thing, get it done, get it learned,
Yeah.
and then I can't because I'm too focused on thinking of all this other stupid shit for some reason. Like, I'm just thinking of a million things at once,
See,
and then I'd
that's
sit there and procrastinate and don't get anything done.
see, that's what I've gotten a lot better with, like with the podcast. That's why I'm like releasing a bunch of episodes at the time and like that, and then like the business I'm working on soon. But
That yeah, I feel like everybody's got their. I don't know. I feel like if you hit this point, not like this point in your life, but kind of at this age where you're starting to think of, all right, I'm
like
either
doing shit.
yeah, I'm either like getting my dad and husband shit in line, or I'm trying to start a business and trying to
Mhm.
start like try to go here, do this, like do whatever.
And you start talking different creatures
Mhm.
when you take those trips.
Dude, yeah,
You start seeing shit.
straight up,
I know it's a big part of your life, like all of that.
it is. It
And I want to
is.
get a little bit into that. I told you we would get there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. It is definitely a big old thing. Big part. Um uh, what's it called? Hmm. 11:07.
You're trying to see where you can start. No, we got time. Fuck it.
I think
It's a podcast.
I do got I do want to stay. See, I'm trying to see if I want to do if we'd be able just to break this up into multiple littler episodes, or if you want to do one long.
No, we'll just do the long one right now. We're ready.
Because I do kind of got to get that. I got to wrap up soon-ish, but not too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Not too soon.
Oh, we got some time.
Alright.
I'll probably around 11:30 would be a good time to stop. I'll try to like cut it off, but we can definitely talk about this for a bit because I know it's really like it's something that's really big in your life, and I kind of want to like touch up on it.
Yeah, it's something I feel strongly about.
Mm-hmm. What got you into it? Let's just start there.
I guess, if I had to say, it was a documentary that that well, I guess it was a movie, and then, so I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas for the first time. I was probably 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned about a man named Hunter S. Thompson, who was a journalist. Yeah, he was a journalist. I mean, you look him up, he's kind of listed as a few different things
Yeah.
on Google, but I think number one thing is American journalist. Um, and he's most famous for his exploration with psychoactive compounds, and basically he's known for pushing the limits as far as who and how much he does and where.
What was his name again?
Hunter S. Thompson.
Mm.
So, um, if you watch this movie, it's loosely based on a real life experience that he had. And basically this man, you gotta do like research on him basically for yourself if you don't know, because he got famous, like I said, for being a journalist, and then really started getting to expand on stuff that he really cared about. Basically, like got to where he was at a level to where he could speak and use his voice, for what he wanted to, and then started talking about basically all these psychoactive compounds that he was really fond of and his favorites. But there's a lot of documentaries over him. There's a lot of documentaries with him in them. You can hear him speak, hear his philosophies, and you can tell when you see like people like that or people who are into that certain stuff. When you hear them them talk about their philosophies, or you hear them speak over certain things, like you're kind of intrigued. You're like, where did he get this point of view from? Like,
Mm.
why? So I was pretty intrigued with that, and saw, I saw like he, you know, he contributed. He basically was talking about death and life,
Mm.
and how to come to an understanding.
Like how to accept it.
Yeah, pretty much how to come to acceptance with it and how to come to an understanding with it, and basically his thoughts over it. And I was, ever since a real young child, that's one thing that's always, like, I've always thought about that, super heavy.
Mm.
And I always had super bad anxiety, and I feel like I would literally have anxiety attacks about dying when I was fucking
Mm.
young. For some, you know what I'm saying? That's some shit you're not really, like, you don't need to be even thinking about that or worrying about that yet.
Mm.
And like, it, like, so whenever I saw how, like, he said he was able to come to terms with it, I was pretty much like, yeah, like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to see life for, like, the bigger picture, and, like, see the real beauty in life, as, like, a lot of these people would say. And I was really just wanting to change my view on the world too,
Mm.
because also at the time I was still fat ass little fucking
Yeah.
little fat ass kid.
Mm.
I won't be vulgar, but no homies, but no females. So you sitting there not enjoying life a whole bunch, and then um I don't know, just thinking, like, having mad anxiety about stupid ass things like that, like thinking about life, and, like, like, I feel like everybody does that, but it was just getting, like, to me, it was on the back of my head all the time for some reason, stupid shit like that. And whenever I heard that, most people who I talked to about it said that it, like, changed not their life, but basically changed their view, their
Mm.
outlook on everything immediately. And I was just ready to try that. I was like, I wanted to see what it was about.
How old were you was the first time?
I think I was 16, probably.
Mm.
So it took me about 2 years of doing
Yeah.
research, and, like, really I was like, yeah, I want, like, this is
Like
something
I
I
want
want.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is something I want to try. About 16.
Do you remember what did you try?
My brother gave me some psilocybin for my first time.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love
And
those.
yes. It was amazing. It
Do you remember like your first experience?
Where I was at, what I was doing, or,
Yeah, like
like,
what you saw, kind of like in
um
general.
it was really more in it was really a lot more heavy in the thoughts, because of
Mm.
it kind of depends on how much you're taking as well. So the
I'm
amount,
assuming you took a light dose because it was the first
yeah,
one.
yeah, light dose. So it was a light amount, and then it was, you know, it heavy in the head, very heavy
Mm.
head.
Oh yeah.
So you think a lot, and then you not question life, but you kind of ponder over what you're doing, and,
Mm.
like, what you could be doing,
Because
basically.
very ego dissolving.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. A lot of people go through what's called ego death and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, kind of went through that, as far as I was just like, damn, like, I don't know what I'm actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, I don't know. You feel like you could find a better way to spend your time. Really, you feel like you kind of been wasting time a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I still feel like that sometimes. Like, whenever I get into it now, I'll be like, damn, like, I'm still doing this particular thing that I feel like wastes a lot of my time. And I feel like that's kind of how I help focus my life.
Yeah.
And, like, I
It
try and
definitely.
realign
Mm.
my life every now and then, take, like, like a reboot, basically.
Yeah, I definitely felt like, or at least the first time I did it, it was definitely like I felt reborn or I felt different.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, realign my thoughts and realign my chakras, basically.
It's like
Some
one of
shit
those
like
weird
that,
things
like,
that like you don't want to do it again because you're like, nah, fuck this. Like it was way too much on me, but at the same time, like it helps you out. It really does.
It definitely does.
Because I remember from my experience, the first one, like it kind of took me like, kind of gave me like a tour of my life and like what I can do. Because like I'm starting up on the business, so like it definitely took me to like, they're like, what happens if you take this path? What happens if you take that path? And like after I came back from it, I was like, all right, like it was one of those. It was very very overwhelming, but one of the messages I got is like definitely kind of like check up on them in a way, just like make sure you're on the right path to whatever you
Mhm.
want to do. And I did it not too long ago. I did like a few days ago. But this time it was a bigger dose, and it was definitely different, but it really got into like my subconscious this time. So it's like
Yeah.
stuff that I didn't even know was bothering me. It really came out. I was like, fuck, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's some of the things that deep down bother you, you don't even
Mhm.
realize. Then that's what
Mhm.
that's what they really talk about as far as like ego death is. You've got this big wall built up around you, and I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Honestly, it's a lot more.
No one. That's the one. That's the crazy thing about them, especially like the psilocybin, because like you obviously know about the chemical compound, and we can get into that for a bit, kind of like how it affects the brain and all of that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because it affects the serotonin receptor, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically blocking your receptor, flooding like your
Mm-hmm.
brain pretty much.
Mm. And it's
Flooding your brain with like dopamine and serotonin.
yeah, and then it's weird how and then because it affects because really your brain is already producing those chemicals where you see shit, you just ignite them in a way. The
Yeah.
way I explain it, it's kind of like you got the box and you have a match, and you can make a fire out of them, but you have to do them together. You have to ignite them.
Yeah.
Because if you just have the box, you're not gonna have a fire, and if you just have a stick, it's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
That's kind of how I think of it and how I try to explain people. But it's just Joe Rogan puts it in a great way. It's it's like explaining a kaleidoscope to a blind person. That's really how it is. How I think about it.
You like
Like just
like if you're explaining it to
explaining the
someone who's
concept.
never done it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
for
you're
sure. Because
explaining kaleidoscope to a blind person.
it's yeah, it's unexplainable. You can't like.
It's crazy how it's like, cause it feels like the dimension's right next door.
Oh yeah, it feels like it's right there. Like
Mhm.
it's it's on the backside of your brain, like literally. It's like the underside. Like honestly, it's like if you could flip like into the inside.
Like you're not even
I don't even
flipping
know.
it. You're just like going to like the next door. And it's like it's completely different world.
It's like if your brain just kind of flips upside down, and then you just see in a
Mhm.
totally different vision. Like it's insane how close it is. Like that
Mhm.
totally different realm, and like
And that's when you get into like other dimensions and all of that weird shit.
the brain is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. It definitely does some crazy things.
Yeah, it's one of those things like it's definitely worth another hour of content that we don't have, but
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I think I'll be back on the show for
oh
sure.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'll
Talk
definitely have a lot
we
of
got
people.
plenty of time. Yeah.
Hope
Also, yeah, I do want to do that as a
mm,
group podcast. That'd be cool.
we'll talk about that off of the mics.
Save that for later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off the mics. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else
Dude,
or
that I have a lot, man. But like, who doesn't have a lot?
yeah.
Like, we'll get to it, and we'll get we got ideas. I know you and me.
Mm,
We'll be around. for whoever's listening, whoever's caring. You'll see more of the more of the two of us together.
True.
For sure.
Try to get Joe Rogan on the podcast.
Trying to get Joe Rogan on the podcast.
You know he's moving to Texas, right?
I heard.
He might move. Or my friend said that there's a guy on Facebook talking about that. There was rumors going around that he bought a building or something in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then he does always talk about that he loves Dallas.
Dude, that would
So
be
he might
wild.
be moving over here.
That'd be wild. That'd be cool as hell if we were able to.
Just like go knock on the store, like, hey, you want to be on my podcast?
Or even just to see, like, imagine if they had
Like,
like
go to the
a cool
Joe
ass studio, like
Have you seen it though?
like what?
Like the tour of his studio. Like, he has like a gym on one part, and he has like a bunch of bags and like all that sort of stuff.
I only ever seen that one little section just where
Yeah.
he sits and does him. But like, dude, that would be cool to see it down there.
It's the ultimate man cave.
I bet.
And plus, yeah, he got that NFL contract with Spotify recently.
Straight
That
up,
$100 million.
Straight up, he secured the bag with that one.
Yeah,
He's
fuck
gonna be
man.
talking on Spotify, doing whatever the fuck he wants for $100 million,
Fuck that.
dude.
That's why he moved to Texas though, really. 'Cause it's like for tax purposes and all of that. 'Cause he said that there's a lot more freedoms there, and then like you can see it obviously. California is kind of a mess right now.
What's he gonna do as far as his weed? He's gonna have to smoke on the. I don't know, 'cause like there's a lot of big people that are known for like like it's known that you aren't in like so like in whatever like location, but you still.
He'll figure it out. He's Joe Rogan. He'll figure it out.
Oh, I'm sure he will, but I'm saying like I wonder if he could still be able to do it on the show.
He probably will.
Like I wouldn't see why not, but then again I could see someone easily just being like, "Hey, you're not in California anymore," like like.
But it is in personal property.
It is.
It would be.
Yeah.
So that's why I bought the building.
That's why I bought the building. That'd be cool as fuck, just to buy the
though.
whole building. You're like, yeah, well, I'm Joe Rogan, and I need a place to sit and talk. So, give me this fucking building.
And have his sauna, his man cave, his gym.
Yeah.
That's a life, though.
That is.
Yeah. Well, man, it was great having on here for sure. You'll definitely be back.
For sure. It was good talking to you, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
We'll see everyone later.
Later, y'all.